last week we were dealing with a coach, giving us a lot of perspective, especially on about men and about life and dealing with the pressures of life and things like suicide and all. But here today we have a different guest that is going to give us some more insight. Men always have these complexities that we never really like to talk about, that we keep bottled up, because these are the things that are taught to us. And so when we kind of mimic what we see that we think is what a man is. But I remember last week, Tobie said some wonderful things about how depression and everything got to him where he was about to commit suicide. We were talking about how to have strategies and how life is that we need those kind of coaches that carry us through life when we don't know which direction to go into and have a plan. But that in a nutshell contains last week. But now we got a new guest here. Our brother, our man here, Mr. Bruce Carter, who has a plethora of things to talk about in a long resume. And as we do on this show, nobody can introduce you better than you can introduce yourself. So please, without further ado, we give it up to our man, Mr. Bruce Carter. Thank you for being here, sir.
Oh man, thank you all for having me. Thank you. I'm short. I'm just a lowly servant, man, that's trying to have some impact that's lasting. Whether it's these men that have been incarcerated, whether it's our children, it doesn't matter. And this is just a continuation of work. And I was telling Tobie before you came on that I've been doing this for about 7 years, where I would tour the country to grab data, being from whether it was rural America, suburban, urban, it didn't matter, to really understand these issues and now put solutions in place. So this will be my last tour. And I know I see your Army hat, and I'm just saying my tour, because I've done the Valuable Life tour. I've done the I Think Solutions tour. I've done the Let's Go Brandon tour. I've done these tours, politically people charged. But this one is I'm trying to wrap the last things that I really want to have impact. And so people lives can be better. When I think of Tobie's last name, I'm going to be doing a mission called Moving Mississippi Forward. The goal there is to bring 100,000 households above poverty in a 4-year period. Prison to 6 figures is why we're on now. And that's talking about grabbing men. And I say men, not males. I'm talking about individuals who understand that being a man is more than having 2 testicles and a weenie. It's the work I do. It's being able to take instruction for the greater good of your family. And you find that not many men exist at this point for whatever reasons. And so to try to find those men so they can go find other men. And then we talked about mental health, and me and Tobie was just kind of going over a few things. And what I was saying was, did we all become crazy all of a sudden? Or, are we just at a point where hope is just gone? I mean, I'm 53. I don't know if I'm the baby of the group or the oldest, but I grew up without a father, but I grew up with a grandmama, a great grandmama, my mama, my aunties, my great aunties, my great uncles. I had a village, so I had so much love. All I know is love. I don't know how not to give or not to serve, because I didn't fall short in that area. And I was explaining to him, I was in Des Moines, Iowa 2 days ago at the state fair. It's 100,000 people, and Iowa is 3% black. Who do you think was out front trying to act the fool, fighting still? It's the young black kids. I get to many, I'm in Milwaukee today. I get here yesterday and I turn the news on, 22 people shot, young teenagers, and I was telling him about what happened in Atlanta there about 8 months ago on the bridge where the young, I think it was 12 years old, got killed. Yeah. And the politician, and I'm the guy, I'm just a straightforward shooter. Her name was Keisha Waits. She does these press conferences, all this stuff we're going to do. So I reach out to her via email, get on the phone. Nothing's happened. So whether we talk about Black communities or we talk about America as a whole, men are declining.
Yeah.
And because men are not in position, it's only getting worse. And I'm not talking about domineering a relationship. I'm saying that men, we have a different perspective. Men can see bullcorn a long way away. But if we are not in our position, it just gets too close to home and communities and loved ones. So it's just a lot, man, to unpack. And they sent me this, told me, asked me if I could do it. I was in the bed and my phone went off. And I hadn't read the title, research, or nothing. Then it said, I'm like, I better get up and not cancel this one. So I'm honored just to be on here with some brothers, man, with some men who at least is creating a space and a platform to at least try to see what's going on with us.
I will tell you, there is so much more to men than meets the eye. And the information world has thrown so much at us, including the kitchen sink, that if you don't have a leader such as yourself or what we like to call coaches to help you navigate your thought process, it becomes a guessing game. And you're gambling with your life about the courses that you need to take, the people you need to be with. I will definitely say this, Mr. Carter, that one of the things I had to learn, everyone can't be in your circle. And I don't care how far up you get. Billionaires don't let everybody in their circle. Millionaires don't let everybody in your circle. Once you start letting everyone in your circle, you've taken in so much disservice or information that we become lost. So I just say thank you. Thank you for reaching out to people who need those people, need men like you. Because without y'all, without us, there are the blind leading the blind. And you would think there are so many of us. But like you said, as you travel, where are they? And then they are trying to protect their own because they just can't go out there and get anyone who doesn't want what you got to offer. So it becomes hard now. It becomes hard. So now you gotta decipher who you will decide to help. Go ahead. No. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're good. I have right now I have a brother who actually lives in Atlanta. He's 45. He did 10 years in prison. And I met him through someone else. Actually met him through a gentleman from New York that someone referred to be a part of my immediate team. He spent 3 days with me, man, and realized he couldn't be a part of my team because he wasn't made to work like that, right? He was going to be an artist, so he couldn't move boxes. And I'm like, let me get you on a flight up out of here. Yeah. I'm going to bite that. But a guy he referred is here. And so what that brother said was this. He said, man, you're hard, but you're fair. Have you ever been in the military? Yeah, he asked me. I said, no, I'm just an old ball player. I said, but when my feet hit the ground, every day is practice to me. I'm chasing excellence every day. If I don't get it, I'm chasing it so hard, I'm chasing perfection that I'm going to be okay. And I love to say it, the brothers, he's going to probably make it because he's determined to make it. But I have a young little white kid that came from nothing. He probably won't make it. And he's standing in hotels that he said before he ever got here, the best hotel was a Motel 6. But he still has that poverty mindset. Yeah. And so that's a real deal. And I don't know where it goes from here, but my challenge is always this. I have 5 daughters. And I was an old ball player. So women love me. I like them. I got 5 daughters by 4 women. And my youngest daughter graduates from Texas Tech in December. My next to the youngest, she graduated in June from Seattle University, and now she's at Stetson University working on her math. She's a volleyball player. My third, she graduated from Stephen F. Austin. She's in the hospital about to have a baby. My fourth is in Iowa in nursing. She was with me when I was in Iowa. And my oldest, I just talked to them. So today I've talked to 4 of my 5 daughters. Yesterday, 3. Because once I realized the importance of those relationships, and I've even learned how to parent them in a way where they love it. Because you know what I say, Mr. Jones, at the end of our phone? If it was me, I would do it this way. And I would do it this way because I have not told them what to do probably 3 years, 2.5 years. And my mom passed about 2.5 years ago. We were like this. Sorry. And it's like this peace, though. He didn't suffer, but it was like a peace, man, that came. And my favorite song became The Older I Get by Alan Jackson. It's a country song. Mm-hmm. It's like the world just turned on. It became so clear. Yeah. And so now I realize that I have whatever time I have to do the greatest work, to create the greatest impact. Mm-hmm. Some may say I've already done it because I have these young men that I mentored starting in the 5th grade who are now 25, 26 on school boards, top organizations in their towns. And I get these kind of texts from them on Father's Day. These are kids I mentored. Happy Father's Day, Mr. Bruce. Thank you. And one came back, oh, I love you. That's what he said. Then he texted back and said, no, I really love you. Right. Why? Because from the 5th grade to now, he's gotten married and, he's still getting mentored. I could say that could be my greatest impact, but I think there's much more work needed. And if we allow, and I'm saying all of us, if we allow, now I'm going to come back to Blacks in America. Right. If we allow broken men to continually be the leaders, because somebody's following everyone, to be the leader without trying to do everything we can, we're in trouble. And I think Frederick Douglass said it best. I don't agree with him. I understand the difficulties of it, but he said in a paraphrase, it's better to go in and work with young kids than to try to repair broken men. And I just paraphrased it. Yeah. But if we don't take these men that are broken, I'm not talking about in crumble pieces. Some are just broken because they were miseducated, undereducated, incarcerated, didn't have a dad, and mom was doing her thing. They didn't grow up with love, so they got hard hearts. Right. But they're a danger to us because they're going to raise their children the best way they know, and they don't know nothing. Exactly. So what I do the selfish side is I want my girls to meet young, that's been my prayer, young, good men. And I'm hoping through reciprocity, the work I've done works. And so far, Lord ain't heard me because they got some knuckleheads. But anyway, that's another story. I'm sorry. I know I almost went there. I almost went somewhere, but let me come back.
Well, I will say this, Mr. Bruce, is that the Lord thy God, I heard it best said this way: we're created for these streets, or we're built for these streets, right? Whatever street you're on. So if your street is the government, if your street is education, is your street sports, as in balling, everyone has a street that they need to be working on. Mm-hmm. What we have fallen for is the bait and switch, as we like to call it. What have America fed us is a bunch of junk food that was destroying us from the inside out as an individual and as a people. And the very few that made it, a lot of them didn't reach back and come get us. When I watch documentaries on PBS, those things that we see is like once Dr. King passed away and they put legislation in, one of the first things they started doing is they started allowing the highly educated minority to come up out of our communities and come to their communities. Mm-hmm. So the doctor went, the business owner went, everybody started leaving that could leave, started leaving to go on the other side. Guess what happens? So the people who lost a dad, who had a mom, and only a mom, who wasn't working back then and was barely surviving, now not only are they missing a father, but now they're broken in places because everybody's gone who could lead them somewhere. So let me ask you this. What is the number one thing that you first start off to deal with someone who has a hardened heart? But let me say this, have a hardened heart, but wants you to mentor them. Because I know you see it all the time. So, they want what you have because they've seen what you've done. But they don't want the change, but they want the gift.
Oh, well, they don't last long. It don't work. So I try to be real clear is that it's hard, guys. Like if you talk to my daughter, it's hard. It's like hard. The young man I was just referencing, he has a nonprofit in Waco called Mentor Waco. And he called me, he said, Mr. Bruce, how did you do this? I said, I was built for it, just like you are. So when that man, let's say that male, when that male comes forward, I just have a real conversation. Look, man, I'm going to do everything I tell you I'm going to do. I'm going to give my all to you. Right. But I'm not your mama. I'm not putting you on my breast. I'm not trying to carry you. I'll walk beside you. We can go back to back and make sure we both stand up. But that's it. And so I mentor hard, but I do it not to break you, but just to give you the strength to go along. So when you get in a bad place, you got so much inside of you. See, Bruce ain't never killing each other. Let me put this out here. If I die or when I die, and they said it was suicide, I'm giving y'all a charge. Found who killed me. Right. Then ain't happening, right? And so the number one thing, though, that I think that I ask of everybody, man, you got to have the ability to listen. And that's listening and paying attention to details. If you do those two, me and you're going to be all right. Because I know you're going to learn something because I'm going to give you something that's tangible that you can hold on to. And unless you're a lunatic, when there's progress in front of you, or you just want something for nothing, but if you earnestly want it, you don't want to hand out, you don't think somebody owe you something, you see it as a genuine opportunity. If you can listen and just pay attention to detail, I can get you there.
All right. Tobie, you got something to say? You were sitting over there having your wheels turn in your mind. I seen it.
The process, my question to you, Bruce, looking at your bio, prison reform. It's along the lines of prison reform. You have a man who's been in jail 20 years, give or take. He comes out of jail. He comes out, he's released. And this man comes to you. How would you mentor someone like that?
Hold on. Let me just give you this. This is my phone is making these noises, right? Mm-hmm. This says, hey, this is Raymond's wife who got locked up at his job because some lady called the cops on him. He walked outside because he didn't have a ride. Now, I just met Raymond yesterday on my way out of a hotel. I have no idea what she's talking, but it's really long, right? So, oh wow. So this just came in, right? Like, this is what I get, though. So you get the police ran his name and said he had a warrant. One of those got rescinded, but apparently the other one did not. We are 2.5 hours away from where the warrant is. There is no one that can pick him up, but his bond amount is $500. and I could get him from where he is right now because he's only 45 minutes away from me. He asked me to text you and see if there's anything you can do at all. I've asked almost everyone. He does have debts with about everybody. I'm fully aware. But at this time, he is trying his very hardest to be a better person and change and stay out of trouble. So this is my life. Remember, I'm checking out my hotel, see a brother in the lobby, have a brief conversation. He called me today. They're trying to put me out of my room. Brother, I'm not no beggar, but can you send me $25? Well, I did that. Now what I got to do is when I get off with you, I'll make this call, see what she's talking about. Now, what I'm going to do is call the police department, find out, tell them who I am, the work I do, and see if they'll give them a PR bond. So, and I got to get back to where you were, Tobie. But the process is, for me, I'm just always available for what might happen. This prison is 6 figures. It's easy because I did 18 months in federal prison. But to me, it was like college 20 years ago. It wasn't that. What I learned from being there was that there was a new ecosystem of money, which called stamps. I learned that people will steal from you because they act like you dead. I taught the guards real estate. I got people I mentored in real estate. So I'm not saying prison didn't change me. Prison did one great thing for me. It allowed for me to get close to God. That's it. I mean, I was in church doing all that, but I got a chance to have an experience with God. And that experience, man, is just, it's like I'm talking to you. I had that experience, and that made me a better person. Because, you know, I was starched down. I was in a federal prison. There was no gates. I mean, you could just walk off at the camp. You know, I'd never been in that. But when you're separated, it's like a timeout in life. Imagine you get a timeout and the world's still moving and you can watch it move. And you start thinking about the things you get to make these decisions when you get out because you're already been written off. Mm-hmm. So I got a chance to come out with plans and stacks like this big. All I need to do is execute. So for me, it didn't take away from my life. I was 30, 31, 18 months, came out, hit the ground running. But everybody doesn't have that because some people went in young, so they missed a bunch of education. They didn't have a support system. You know, I had the pastors, the mothers from my church coming. I was chosen by the chaplain to work in the chapel, which was the most coveted job. So it's like, I just say God put me in a place where he could teach me because I wasn't running every day. I was working 18 to 20 hours a day, but I was set down. So my process is, bro, let me set you down. Let me put you on this road where it's really organized. You're going to be in this hotel after we finish our work. You ain't going to no clubs. You ain't drinking. You smoking cigarettes. You ain't doing that. None of that. Because I don't want no smells in my vans and my bus. When you come out here, you're in jail, but you're free. Mm-hmm. So that discipline, what you talked about, Mr. Jones, they got to learn discipline. Man, we on RVs, we on vans, we them dudes when we go out. And you got to be able to channel that into safety because people will rob you. They know we're making money out here. So it's all these things you get to teach them. And the greatest joy is when you see a person that's better today than what they were yesterday. They're not making the same mistakes, or at least they're making it a little faster. So I'm just, put it like this. I was riding through Iowa yesterday, and I was in the bus by myself. I had everybody wave at me so I could think. Man, I'm just smiling while I'm riding down the highway because I see it working. I see these things coming together. And before you came on, thank God, always provides for me to do this stuff. Never had a grant. You know, have people to get in because it look good, but it's more difficult. Things don't manifest the way you think they are. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just grateful, man, that that you say that street that we all got, that I was
Yes.
picked to be on the street that I'm on right now. And I just want to keep the wheels between the white lines and get from one point to the other. And once I get there, I'll be able to look back, and there should be a trail of people who are doing the same thing in their street that they're supposed to be on.
Okay. I was gonna finish the question. I think you touched on on the answers a little bit. So, this guy's out of jail. So, how challenging is it to put that person on the right street? Like James had said, is it challenging to put them on the street? Because the reason why I'm asking you that question is because when people go to prison, if it's a felony, it's almost like a death sentence. They can't do anything in their lives anymore unless you help me change the narrative this evening. Because people that I know, when they go, we have a convicted felon and everything, it is challenging for them.
So let me debunk some of the things you said.
Okay, please. Because it's turning to me as well.
Now, if you want me to take me out of the equation, because maybe, if you read my bio, I have two things that I have that many people don't have. That's faith and favor. Mm-hmm. But I have been with billionaires. I've been with millionaires. I've never had the felony to stop me. Now, I'm the guy that if you tried that, I'll sue you though. Because I will sue you. Like, you'll get that. So I haven't had that be an issue, but the reason why it has not stopped me, because I'm an entrepreneur also. So one of the biggest things is if you tell me that
everybody has that luxury though, Bruce. Not everybody has that.
What luxury was it? What luxury was it? I came out with what luxury was it?
Hang on a second. I mean a mental luxury of being an entrepreneur. Some men can't think like the way you do. Like, okay, I need a job. What am I going to do? Okay. Some of these men don't have this mental, luxury of going out there to pave the way for themselves or anything. Okay. Those are the people I'm talking about. Not everybody has gifts that we have.
So right now, at least in the Dallas area, warehouses pay $17, $18, $19 an hour. They don't care about the felony. The problem I've seen is a lot of guys who has the felonies, they don't want to work a warehouse job. So one of the things that if we were ever to do something together, because we're just talking about this topic, is there has to be a greater demand. People come up with these words and these things that they chant about: mass incarceration, systemic racism, all these things. But at the end of the day, you have to come with something that's tangible. So if it was me and people said that they wanted to address mass incarceration, the first thing I would say is put something in the prison that allows every person to come out with a skill set where they can go make money with these.
Okay.
Right? I don't care if it's pottery, because there's always somebody willing to buy something, whatever it is, but they come out with, something they can go make money with, and they don't have to wait on someone to give them permission by giving them a job. That would be the first thing. And then the next thing that I would make sure is that I love this word, and I focus on this, called self-efficacy. See, nobody in the world can say something to me that's going to make me think less of Bruce Carter. Period.
Okay.
You can give me good advice. I'm going to take heed to it. But the minute you start telling me I can't do something, I'm going to cut you off. Because as long as I get up and work and I'm chasing it, I'm an old ball player. The worst thing could happen if I think I'm going to make it to the NFL and I'm preparing is I'm going to be in shape, I'm going to be healthy, I ain't going, but in my mind, I'm working to get there. I want to be the oldest guy to go back. So that hope is what makes us go. So I'm not trying to reform the prison. I'm trying to take enough people that's been in prison, reform them, so then maybe we can say, look, hold on. This guy did 20 years. He came out and struggled for 5 years. And then in 12 months, look what he did because we gave him the right tools. So with all the money that's spent in Texas population of prison, we got to give them the right tools. But at the same time, people incarcerated they gotta have some hope inside of them that life's gonna be better. There are people, and this is sad, there are people who go to prison. 18 months was enough for me, right? I tell everybody I'm a snitch, I'm gonna tell it, don't ask me nothing, because I ain't going back. Because freedom is everything.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people, man, that go to prison and nothing changes because they went to prison empty and they stayed empty. So remember, and I don't know if you were on, Mr. Jones, I grew up around love. Like love. I was loved. I was loved. I was loved. I was loved. I've always had a support system. People don't have that. And so What I'm thinking about now is when I see that this guy's bond is $500, that tells me it's some misdemeanor or a ticket. But remember, you remember the name Sandra Bland?
Oh,
yeah.
How can I forget?
So Sandra Bland's bond was $500. So imagine had somebody came up with $500 in the first
be alive today.
12 hours. She wouldn't have died in the cell.
Right.
She'll be alive today. Yes.
Well, but she wouldn't have died in that. So my point is, there's a lot of people that lie to get where they want to go who don't maximize on opportunities. They're out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to just take it as it comes. And if my heart drives me in a way, I go all in. If it don't, I just don't move. I just, sometimes I just say, okay, I can't do that. But we have an opportunity and a responsibility. I don't know. I don't want to cut your name up, so I ain't gonna try to say it's Famusipe, like Mississippi.
Famusipe.
Okay. Do you know anyone do you know anyone person who's been in prison?
Mm-hmm.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Jones, I know you do just by your last name.
That's a good one.
So when you take that, do you know anybody who did more than 10 years in prison?
Probably, yeah.
You do? Because the mindsets are different based on sometimes time and based on where you went. So I was in the federal prison, totally different than people been in state. I was in there with people who were millionaires, restaurant owners. They was in there for like tax evasion, 6 months, like the Martha Stewart stuff. So it's a difference when you have people who did hard time, no air conditions, fighting to protect their bodies. And we had that kind of stuff. The guards called me Mr. Carter. I'm writing guards up because I'm trying to send roses home. And, but it was different, but it was a timeout. I wasn't a free bird no more. So when I walk and I start to introduce myself and I'm talking to these guys, like this young man that's texting me, he's from Chicago. He had 2 murders at one point. He had drug charges. But now, according to the wife, he's trying to do right. So what's going to happen? Because his whole deal started when he was a young man. So, he missed a lot. I don't know if I can help him. I just know I can't carry him right now. And if I'm not careful, I can be put in a carrying position. But can Can I keep him hopeful? Yes, I can call the police department, see if I can make sense of it, see what it really is, and you know, kind of go from there.
Okay. Wow. Well, you can only lead a horse to water, but you can make him drink. You can't make him drink.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what it's, you know. So the prison to 6 figures. Let me see if I can get this right. You're not going to babysit them. You're not going to breastfeed them like you said earlier. But what you do is to set them in a place, put them in a position where they can go get it.
And I'm going to go with them the first time.
And you're going to go with them the first time. But they have to be motivated to do it. They have to want it. It's like you said, people go to jail, they don't know anything else. They try to commit a crime to go what? Back to jail. You know, how do you manage people like that to prevent them from doing something to take them back? Because I've seen prisoners who are terrified. I've seen men, it doesn't even matter, black, white, brown, who are terrified when they come out. It's like, what world am I walking into? There's no structure, there's nothing, I don't know what to do. How do you flip their mental state to say it's going to be okay? How? Okay.
So the first thing that I do is, you know, I've been building a trade school that I have set to make it different intentionally, because it's about building the development of the person. I'm not even worried about the trade right now. So it's called a solid foundation. And all of our foundations are shaken. So once they can obtain this solid foundation certification, that deals with the self-efficacy, the value of a life, and you know, it makes you understand that you have a value, civic engagement. It touches on entrepreneurship. Once they have that, I'm confident in them. But I'm not going on the road with nobody in that capacity that don't have it, because I don't know what's inside of you. Right. So once you know it's like going to the Army and not going to basic training. You enlisted and they just took. I mean, you get what I'm saying? Like,
right, it ain't happening.
You're like, I'm not going out to war with him. It's the same thing. So I'm not going to put myself in a position when I don't have any idea what's inside of you. Right. But once I know what's inside of you, now it's just tapping into it. Because I'm not looking for perfect people. I'm looking for people who are willing to get up, put the hard work in, deal with the adversity, stick with it, and keep it moving. That's it. If you have those people, man, you can change this world if they have those tendencies. But when I have a person who, the minute I say something, you got an attitude because you feel like I'm fronting you out or calling you out, we ain't gonna make it down the road together. Right. Or you can't take instruction, or you can't take criticism. We're not gonna make it down the road. So that male ego has to be gone. And with some people, they're gonna die with a male ego, never accomplish anything. But there are other ones. This brother that's here from Atlanta, like I said, he's 45. But he's gonna make it, man, because he got the right mindset. The other day he said, I'm getting better, but I'm gonna be here unless you send me home. He said, I ain't quitting. And I'm driving him, man. Like, no, I'm driving him. I come in my room sometime and I say, man, he is 45. But you know what? He 45, but he went to prison at 18 and did 10 years. So is he really 45?
Right.
He's motivated.
Good spirit. Good spirit. He's gonna do great. And so once you've done it, as long as I've done it, you know.
No.
Now, my job now with him is a balancing act, right? I got to keep guiding him, but I also got to let him flourish more as a man, because he's a man. He's not a boy. He's a man. So I have to tone it down in how I deal with him, because he is a man at the end of the day. He got children, right? So now, today we were getting groceries, and I said, hey, guys, you know, you've been here. You're going to start paying for your own meals, get some, because we got kitchens where we are. And I could see him light up. You know, now he's like, man, I just hope when I get through with this, I can get like money to put my daughters in the best school. So he's seen me and my 27-year-old daughter hanging out like she was 13, you know, show up with her daddy, hug on her daddy, walk across the street, hold her dad, because she's so happy that her daddy's in Iowa.
Right.
So it's these things that I think if I can be a good man to my children and let these men see that this man has a relationship that's valued by his children, and tell them when I was a knucklehead with my kids, like when I was doing everything but being a father. So I'm now saying I want to be the greatest dad in the world, but I'm having to do it with young adults and grown folks.
Right.
Mm, no.
So, Mr. Bruce, since you had that acronym FAT, tell me what I mean by when I say FAT, faithful, available, and teachable. Since they have to be fat for you to work with them, tell me that the principles that you go by, how big is your faith in your work with dealing with the people that you deal with in every day?
Well, that's it. First of all, I believe that God said, I have to do this. That's number one, or I wouldn't be doing it, because I'd rather be doing something else. Honestly, I don't want to deal with these guys just in being who I am, because I done been down the road with them. But at the end of the day, the reward to be, first of all, to be financially able, God made a way for me to be able to do this. And the more I reach out to these disenfranchised groups, the more I'm blessed, more doors open. So to me, it almost comes hands in hand. It's difficult, but on the other side, as you said, for whatever reason, this is a street. This is my street. And
Right.
so since it's my street, I want to make sure my street goes as wide and as long as that it can go. But some of these guys are not faithful because they don't have a relation. You know, they don't know God. But the young white kid told the guy that I saved his life. When he said it, I went right in there at the table and said, I ain't saved your life. You know, it's by the grace of God you here, because I don't know you and I ain't your savior. Because I kill that right there. But the brother came out, he was a preacher. So, you know, he understands the blessing. So if God can get glory because one man decides to put the work in, I'm winning right there. The teachable piece goes back to personality, Tobie. I mean, either you're at a point in your life that you value opportunity or you don't. And if you don't, like, you value your wife, right? You thankful for the wife you have, right? That's why you wear that Atlanta Falcon mess. You got a shirt on too together. Not just the hat, the shirt got Atlanta on it. Because you want your wife to be happy, right? Because when your wife is happy, what happens, Tobie?
You are happy. Your life is.
Oh, you happy. I ain't happy when your wife happy. You happy. Say, I'm happy, right?
You knew what I meant, Bruce.
I'm happy.
Right.
So my point is, Tobie knows that if all I gotta do is do this and my wife is happy, these guys that come along, they have to know that if I can be successful, the people I'm trying to impress that don't really care, my success is gonna make my children love me more. Whatever person in my life, if they really love me, they're gonna love me more because I'm moving in the right direction. So what I try to do, we're gonna do a docu-series because I want their city to get behind them. I want their family to see them. I want people to take bets on who's gonna mess up first. Not that they mess up, but it gives them one more reason to succeed. Because I think Tobie said, if life has just beat you down, and you even played a role in it, but all you know is to be beat down, guess what they waiting for me to do? They waiting for me to beat them down. Mm-hmm. And so it's a lot because of the demographic, but I'm praying and hoping, and I've been, really praying, even I better start fasting that the best person with the most sincere, who need it the most, is the one to get a chance to do it. Then it works. You know, if we have 7 people, I got internal bets that saying, man, ain't now one of them gonna make it. You know, I worked with 568 men about 10 years ago, mentoring them in Dallas, Fort Worth area. Of the 568, one 19-year-old said thank you. And they wrote papers on this work. It's videoed. I made them popular, but they were stealing. They had all kind of excuses. They would show up high, drunk, and I'm checking you like, what you doing? And they couldn't take it. Man, you ain't my daddy. Who you think you are? You in my place. Get out of here.
Right.
That's what I got for you. Go on about your business. Go on over there and do nothing, because I don't want nothing people around me.
Right.
It sounds harsh, but I don't have no. And now remember, I'm 10 years older now. So now I really do just need to be blessed with the right people, man. If I get the right people, or when I get the right people, we're going to do some work that's so credible. You know, when you take a person who comes in and in 12 months, they now own a business, they got a 700 credit score, they got more money in the bank than they probably ever had. And if they go back and they did nothing else, they were successful. But when they go back and they learn how they can take a little group of young black boys, 12 or older, and they can duplicate, that means Atlanta. I can come to Atlanta right now. Doesn't matter where you go, it works. I can go to Georgia. I can go to Atlanta outside the suburbs, and I can go make $100,000 probably in 7 months. It don't matter. You drop me off in Lenox, Georgia, drop me off in Adele, Warner Robins, Perry. It don't matter where. Fort Valley, Villa Rica. I done ate in all of them, man.
Look at you naming these places.
I'm letting you know, because it's real. Like, it don't matter. Because what do we do? This is what people have done to black people for so long. They put a product in front of you and they tell you want to buy it. Probably don't need it. I teach them how to do the research to have products where people have disposable cash. And guess what? Don't wait for the people to come buy it from you. Go to them. Whatever that is. You know, I'm going to take these men to New York for Valentine's. We'll do $250,000 if we get up there on time for Valentine's alone for 1 week. And then what I like, some of mine's going to say this: I don't need him to make all this money. I can go do this on my own. And guess what I'm doing? I'm cheerleading. I'm cheerleading that he gets it now. That now he has his moment. I can go do this. But they got it. They have to see some immediate success, some instant gratification, because without that instant gratification, they can't hold on. And some of them in such bad shape with bills and all this stuff that's compounded on them anyway, that it's tough. So we make money every day.
So do you teach them how to write a vision or a mission or purpose statement? And do you also teach them how to build their own strategies?
Well, I guess it all kind of culminates to that. The first thing I do is this. I ask them, what do you want to do? Like, what is that, right? And what I try to do, they want to be like Mike. Which Mike? Tyson, Jordan, which one?
Jordan. Let's say Jordan. Let's say Jordan. Yeah.
Okay, what you want to be like? A billionaire? What you trying to do?
Trying to play ball like him so I can be a millionaire.
He want to do what?
I want to play ball like him so I can be a millionaire.
Okay, what ball you going to play? You 40 and you ain't never dribbled a basketball. So what else you want to do?
Okay, so if I can't do that, then let me go ahead and coach or sell sports apparel. Let's say sports apparel.
So you want to sell sports apparel? Well, let's go do it. We're going to start that tomorrow.
Okay.
So So what I try to give them, or what I give them, is the art. So this is the key. I give them the art of earning money through customer service, through making sure that money's available. See, a lot of people fuss about what you don't have in certain communities.
Right.
Certain communities can't afford what they're saying they want. It's not enough dollars. So when I teach them, when you do this research and you look at the medium income in a specific area, you need to go find out what them people are buying. And
Exactly.
then if you want to be like,
And
these guys
demographic.
want to be, a lot of them want to be artists, right? I said, okay, here's the deal. You really can't go hold down and work for somebody and be an artist because they own your time. But you do got to provide for your children and your family if you're going to be considered a man and you want to be blessed. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to create a way you can make money. I don't care if you're selling donuts, lemonade, or something, and try to get something you can take your kids with you so y'all can have some family time and your kids can see you getting it. And then set your goals, right? So if your family's bills is $6,000, $3,000, whatever, you need to, then you know, in order for you to do the music, if your budget is to get in the studio is $2,000, you got to go now work harder to get the $2,000 to go in the studio.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? So what you need to do is you need to downsize. You need to go and get y'all a 1-bedroom. You got to get you a trailer house, but get you something where y'all can go live in a mobile park, get out of Atlanta, leave New York, whatever is not a part of your foundation or your stepping stone to get to where you want to go, give it up.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It makes good sense. You know, if it's wearing you down, cut it loose.
Yeah. And so when you get lean and you start realizing, and I got a little more money in the bank this time, dang, you start getting rid of other stuff. And then you realize that I do have enough. And like I said, the transformation, and I hate that. And I don't lie to these guys.
Right.
Earning money has never been my issue. Right. I'm always get some money.
Right.
So that wasn't my issue. I guess we were a single. I was a single parent household. I can remember going to 7th grade with a pair of Wranglers and some gym shoes, but I nipped that in the bud because I had a fireworks stand. I went and made some money. I hauled wood. I picked peas. I hauled hay. I sold Nihilators that I stole from Mr. M. I sold for $0.25 a piece. I was gonna get some money, right? That wasn't my issue. But I guess I just been blessed, man. I can't give you something that I did other than learning and always want to be the best, because some of the things I do, it's a gift. Right. So me being incarcerated, you're right, Tobie, I can't equate them to me because I went in with a degree, an education degree. You know, I went in, checking people with paperwork if they got out of line. Right. So you're right. But I can try to transfer. What I can give them, I guess, if I wrap this up, I can give them hope. That's it.
You know what, though, Mr. Bruce? I'll say this. A lot of people, that's what they need. And I always teach, never discount their failure because they need to be broken somewhere, or that failure is something that they needed to see to make them fight more. And just because someone is down here, don't mean they won't, we all know, don't mean they won't come back. But for you to care, right? Because in this world, the way it is right now, there's not a whole lot of caring people, and especially people who are not your family. Yep. And that says a lot about character. And even though you got a skill set, only character can keep you there. And that's the truth. Only character can really keep you there. You can be great. I know preachers that they can really preach, but their character is not there. And their character, because it's not there, will not keep them there, because then they'll be an embarrassment. But for you to have, for God to give you that, that gift, along with caring, that goes a long way. Because I'm gonna tell you, I know a lot of people, and you might be from Dallas. I'm from Baltimore, right?
Okay.
And I've seen a lot of people die. I've seen a lot of people go to jail. And I got a concept in my mind, and this is one of the concepts I have in my mind. There's two ways a man come out of jail. Either he fully reformed and he believes in God, or he got better at his hustle. It ain't no two way. It ain't no other way to come out of jail. But just those two ways. You either really got reformed and believe in God, or you just got better at a hustle. And most of them get better at their hustle, right? And what hurts them is that you can get over on some of the people some of the time, but you ain't gonna get on everybody.
Right.
And your character is going to start showing, and then no one's going to want to deal with you. But I will say,
pastor in Prince George County, Maryland.
Say it ain't so. PG County. Yeah. All right.
PG County. I did a violence reduction summit with the chief that's there. He's from Dallas. And I invited this is the part where I really, I started to deal with people indifferent. So call the chief. Yeah, we're doing it. I invited the DA office. I invited the county executive's office. I invited the nonprofits because they got $1 million that they split up amongst 20 nonprofits. They gave them $50,000 apiece. I invited pastors, then I invited parents. So it was a rolling day. You can go. I had about 70 police officers. The next hours, I didn't really have nobody. The nonprofit hours, it wasn't one in there. I had a couple of parents, and I had about 9 preachers. So I had to check 2 of the preachers because I said, hey, man, you didn't come here to be on your phones. You came here to learn how we can try to fight this violence. That hurt their feelings, right? But it's my show. But there's one named Bishop Ricky Felton.
Yeah. And
Bishop Felton used to sell a cigarette route to all the gas stations. He used to be an alcoholic. He got this little church, and he prayed. He opened it in prayer. And man, he cried like a baby at the end. And me and him are like this. I mean, we done walked the streets of Prince George County, Cadillac Heights. I'm talking about the worst where everything go down there, right? I walked the apartments with him. They had police around there 24/7, people dropping like flies. And, went to his church to help serve on Thanksgiving. He crying. I'm in my big old bus, but he got old people. So he the only one. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what we obtain through our work, through whatever efforts, man, without your health and without just being blessed to get through the next day, whether our body is not what it used to be, man, there are people waking up and discovering cancer, all this stuff, and that they didn't know where it came from. Man, for me, and like I said, for me, I just love my life, man. And I don't care what's going on. I know that I can make somebody smile. I can give somebody a hug. I came in here today and my room, and I remember I'm 300 nights in hotels for the last 7 years each year. This is the first time I came in. Whoever cleaned my room, they took a towel, they put my clippers there, they made the little bitty towel, stood my toothbrushes up in there. They just made it nice.
Right.
You know what? I don't know who it was, but I'm going to the front desk and I'm gonna say, I don't know who cleaned my room, but will you give them this envelope? Because for me, and I'm a big old teddy bear when it comes, man, when people show me love and make me smile, you got me.
All right.
And you ain't using me. You ain't tricking me because that's me.
Right.
So hopefully, prayerfully, we can take hearts, man, that are messed up because of life. Their foundation is broken, it's loose. We can tighten it up, and these men can become models of how you can overcome.
Right.
And if people can become hopeful again, because we don't have hope. I grew up in the church, even though the preachers was as I got older, they wasn't following God's deal. But guess I still heard the word.
Right.
I mean,
Don't open that door, Bruce. Don't open that door. Do not open that door for James. Oh my God.
No, me and James can get a bat and beat all of them for the most part.
Don't open that door for James. Oh my God.
James smiling, ready to go.
Like it's gonna be a long night if you open that door. I tell you that right now.
James, I'm gonna say this: you ain't got to go there. I did a radio show called "A Life Changing Word," but I did on a gospel show in Dallas. And where I was in Dallas, y'all have heard of TD Jakes, right?
Right.
So within a 5-mile radius, and I'm putting 5 miles because the Potter's house was the furthest from the station, but it could have been in a 2-mile radius. You had these $40 million buildings in a 2-mile radius.
Mm-hmm.
The church people couldn't fellowship together because of the issues of the pastors. One would talk about this church. So I challenged them all. I was whooping their behinds, Jay. They put together this program called FICA, like F-I-C-A, because that was the first letter of the 4 churches. It lasted about a month, brother. And what I was telling them, at that point, it was over $4 million every week that was being taken in by those churches. But it looked like somebody dropped a napalm bomb around these churches.
Yeah.
And they let the Jewish guy come in and buy the mall. And the city of Dallas gave him over $50 million. And now the mall ain't got none but county offices in there. It's not serving the people. And so that's why I can't wait for government. I can't wait because I got a reasonable amount of energy left, man. I've been at this 7 years. I want to live out my Proverbs 18:22. I need to find my wife so I can obtain more favor. And that's where I'm at. So when this is over with, for those that got it, they got it. The school will be built. Some of these men are going to come forth, or some of my mentees are going to come forth, and they're going to take the torch. And Mr. Bruce going to go get on a ranch, and he's going to say, Lord, let me live out this with my beautiful wife. I don't want no kids. I got enough of them. We gonna enjoy life, and I'm going to be available to do what y'all doing, maybe. So y'all you get your tours, huh? What'd you say?
I will tell you, Mr. Bruce, even though you those who might not make it, as the word of God teaches, that there are some where you just planted the seed. And like I said, they can come back later and somebody has to water them. Somebody has to coach them in such a way that what you started and planted, they can go ahead and take care of it. And walk that individual through it, because then that person might be saying, okay, I'm ready now. I'm not a kid no more. I'm not 22 or 30 where I won't listen now. Now I'm willing to listen. But I'm going to tell you something. I learned this from him. I learned that from him. I learned how to hustle, how to grind. I learned these things from him. And I always say this: a hungry person, even in sports, when you get somebody that's hungry, you got to fight. You got an all-out fight on your hands. Right, and we used to say, no matter what sport you in, if you in there for 60 minutes, you got all 60 minutes you got to put in. Ain't no take no break. It ain't no halftime. Even when you take that break, you got to be ready. And such is life. Life don't give you no break. And there's an enemy. He ain't giving you no break, man. He gonna drop bills on you. He gonna drop situations on you. His job is to destroy you, put you in such a way that you won't get to your purpose. Because if I told each and every one of them young men that you had that they had a purpose in life, that they were created with a purpose and a vision, they would probably look at me crazy. Then I would tell, as I say, I give you Bible. I give you Bible straight up. And when you do that, it's like, okay, you told me that, but now how am I supposed to walk it? Now this is where the good part come in. You have to be around people who are going to be willing to disciple you, who's willing to teach you. Because I'm going to tell you like this right now. I've been across the water and everywhere in different churches. Ain't no discipleship really going on. You want to know why this world is chaotic? It's because the church didn't do what it was supposed to do. Straight up. I'm just telling you, Mr. Bruce, straight up. And I don't care if you got a doctor in front of your name or not. Everyone knows that biblical mandate that Jesus put out, they didn't do. So where you might not be a pastor, you're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So you're going out there to where they told them to go take care of the orphans and the widows and those who are broken. You need to go take care of them. And when you don't, and you leave the government to it, what you just told God was, I do what I want to do when I get ready to do it. I'll let you know when I'm ready to do that, but I ain't ready to do that right now.
Oh, this is definitely the results of Black churches not doing their jobs. What's going on in these Black communities?
It's not even Black churches. It's all churches, really. It's the
but we tend to go to churches that of people that look like you. Now, remember, I'm different, Tobie. So in college, remember, I'm the 2-time All-American football player. I was the president of FCA in high school. I started a chapter in college. But I went to Calvary Baptist Church in Mount Pleasant, Iowa, every Sunday morning. Remember, we played football games on Saturday. And I was the only brother. I had my girlfriend and my daughter there. And I liked it because we went there at 10:30. We were out at 11:29:59. And but it was, and look, I raised hell, I fought, but there was this sense of I needed to have a relationship with God for, if nothing else, but for hope.
Yeah.
Because I just believed that everything was going to work out. No matter what I went through, he got my back. So I'm just a beacon of hope, man. And when I get to Atlanta, we're going to break some bread. I'm there for a whole month. And if I'm buying, I don't eat McDonald's, I don't eat Taco Bell, but we'll go to Chick-fil-A.
You hear that, Tobie?
If Tobie buying, we going to the steakhouse.
Okay.
And Tobie buying, we going to the steakhouse because he's the engineer. And if James buying, he a retired veteran. I don't know how many years he did.
We go to the 5 o'clock or 4:30 dinner. How about that?
He trying to get that brunch
in. Hopefully, with all seriousness, I love the title of your show.
Thank you.
Maybe one day we'll really get together when I'm in Atlanta, and I don't have no problem. It's where we can bring men together.
Yeah.
And I mean,
we're already talking about bringing you back for part 2 because there's more about the prison reform and stuff that I would like to put, talk more about and how it mentally affects us as men, as African American men, to be specific. So I was just reaching out to our producer. I said, we got to bring Bruce back. There's more that we need to talk about. There's more. So I know you need to attend to somebody who's been texting you. James, you want to close us out, or I'm going to, close it?
You're on mute, James.
I got to give Mr. Carter the last word.
Give the last word. Go ahead.
The last word for me is real simple, man. May God bless each one of you, your households. keep your spirit, keep you humble, and just stay committed. We don't know who will see this, but that right person will see this. And man, it may save a life. It may turn a heart. It may rebuild a family. Because at the end of the day, as long as our work is pure and honest, it will bring back good fruit. And I believe that's what I get from both of you. So, man, I'm glad to have been on. Definitely will come back. And like I said, when we get to Atlanta, we'll make sure we at least connect, shake hands, and for real get something to eat. But it's always, I'm glad I got out the bed to get on the call. Let me say that.
Well, I'm going to say it was an honor, pleasure to meet you, Mr. Carter. But I'm just going to call you Bruce. I believe we all in this thing called life. We all in the same boat. We should be family. We should act like family, and we should talk like family. And I will tell you, to my brothers and sisters out there, we say thank you for joining the show. Thank you, Mr. Bruce, for doing the hard work. I will tell you, most people don't do that kind of labor at all. Slim to none. You in that rare 1%. There are a lot of nonprofits do a lot of things for a lot of people. But going out there to get the incarcerated, that's very hard to do because it takes a special type of heart and a special type of individual that's willing to put themselves in a place where they care about the most vulnerable. And those people that's coming out of that system are broken, and the only way they know how to survive is a lot of times put on airs. I don't want anybody to see that they're broken because it makes them too vulnerable. And they've been vulnerable too much that they can't afford to do that. But we want to thank you for all your hard work and dedication. We know you have someone to deal with, but it was a blessing. Bless your daughters and their children, and bless you, man of God. Keep walking with him. Keep praying, and let him get all the honor and glory. Because at the end of the day, it's not about us. These bodies going to be in the dirt soon. Sooner than later, and it's all what we do for him that really matters, not how much we accumulate. So, Tobie, blessings to you and your bride and your family. I will tell you, until we meet again, my brothers, blessings to all. Take care and be safe out there. We'll see you soon.
God bless.
God
Tobie,
bless.
keep that Atlanta stuff on, Tobie.
No, the next time I see you, I promise it's going to be it's going to be a whole different gear, a whole different look. You got my word on that.
hey, Mr. Bruce, he remind me of them cats we used to say back in the military days. You open up their closet, they got every jersey in there with the hats. So just depending where they go and who they with, they pull out their gear and be like, all right, I'm wearing this now.
Yeah, don't just get your giant stuff out, because we gonna get on this call. I want to see what you've been rocking all week.
Okay, bet you got it. And
man, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna mess around and catch a Giants game together, all right?
Yeah, amen.
Cowboys against the Giants.
By the time we play, by the time we see you again, the Giants and the Cowboys would have played each other. That's gonna add more energy to this. I can't wait. Okay, let's do this.
All right, guys. Let me take care of this guy, man.
All right,
my brother. Much love. All
take care.
Bye-bye.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children. She didn't know what to do.
Did you have a good day at school?
She gave them some broth without any bread.
There you go.
And kissed them all soundly.
Night night. Good night.
And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.